Well, welcome back to Geekshow Helpdesk.
Hey.
Yeah.
Back once again.
I am
That's
not
right.
coughing anymore. It's great.
Oh, that is
Hey.
glorious.
Congratulations, Jaron.
Did you have a cold or did you have coronavirus? Do you have COVID?
No, I don't think I had COVID.
Oh.
Did you test?
Does anyone actually test anymore?
Well,
I should be.
The person that I got it from, the person who I got it from tested. And she
that
tested
works.
negative.
Oh. So third party. Third
Interesting.
relationship.
Yeah.
The friend of a friend who, helped my friend move.
That's not even third party. That's like third party removed.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, this is a Geek Show Help Desk where we talk about tech gadgets and sciencey things, sometimes COVID. And let's kick it off by introducing our panelist. He's feeling a lot better this week. He's Jaron.
I'm Jaron. You can find me
He
on
sounds
Twitter.
worse.
Jaron.
Hi, I'm Jared.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say Lando as a joke, and it took me by surprise that you were talking about me.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, he's Jaron. Hey, it's Lando.
Hey, it's Lando. I'm here. I'm
He's
happy.
here. Look at him.
Having a good day, having a good life. Everything's going well.
Well, that's
If you want
nice.
a question that's going to really bend your brain,
Seriously, so blessed.
the thing. Oh, you're welcome. The thing that's
Hashtag.
been like living in my head rent free lately is: does a straw have one hole or two?
It's one. And it's been, I know you got that from TikTok because I've been absorbed by it.
It's
So
one.
am I.
It's just one giant hole.
one large hole.
But is it?
Actually,
Yes.
It is.
we're
What if
all
I
wrong. It's
squeeze the
not-
bottom of the hole?
It's not a hole.
That's
it's
still
a-
one.
There's no holes. It's a tunnel.
You're right. Tony is right.
Anyway, just the
Oh,
more
and
you
a
think about it,
hole-
the harder it becomes. Go ahead,
and a
Tony.
hole-
I'm done now.
Okay,
I did not mean
a
to
hole-
derail the podcast. It's
A
just
hole
it's
has a bottom, right? That's the.
So what about a bagel? How many holes does a bagel have?
That's a
hole-
very
a
small.
A bagel
tunnel.
is technically a vortex.
What if I have a water bottle and poke a hole in the bottom?
That's
How
a
many
water
holes does the water
with-
bottle have?
That's a water bottle with an extra hole.
Speaking
That's
of
so two
tunnels.
holes.
Speaking of tunnels, my toddler told me his first story the other day.
See, look at Tony's face.
And it was about poop going
free.
through a tunnel into
Continue.
his diaper.
It's amazing.
You know what?
Yeah.
I like that, Jaron.
Thank you. I
brought that up.
thought
did
it
that to
would
us.
result in that.
Well done.
you.
Hey, before we get any further, we need to introduce Owen.
Oh, hey everybody! Yeah, it's me, Owen. Follow me on Twitter or X or Blue Sky at Technoan. And follow our host, Tony.
Yeah, at Quad T Tony on the X, at Quad T on the Blue Skies. I'm there, never, and on the other Geek Show podcast things. Occasionally on the Space Show even once in a while, if agendas line up for me.
How is that? That sounds like a lot of fun.
The Space Show is a lot of fun.
It is a good show.
Yep, it's a lot of fun.
Whoa.
It's Rebecca and Carrie talking about Star Trek, and I think they're just finishing up the original series stuff.
What's
Owen,
next?
what are you doing with your
My camera-
webcam,
my-
bud?
That is your other rube?
No, can't settle down.
Wow. Whoa.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I feel immediately better about my house cleanliness.
I now
This-
understand
this
that
is
you
the
truly
only-
are a hoarder.
This is the only curated view that you're ever supposed to see. The freaking wire just betrayed me.
Just slams that over.
The
You're like,
USB.
hey, look at this. Hey, look
see
at this.
See this little tiny sliver that you see that has a laundry container and a printer and a bunch of CDs. I got to get rid of that so Jaron doesn't get triggered. And then it went disastrously.
That was
Start
amazing.
over. Let's start over.
I am speechless. I don't know what
Podcast
to
is ruined.
say.
Podcast is ruined.
We're going to power through that. And do we have any emails?
Indeed we do.
All right.
Good.
Yeah, we got an email from our friend Chris Cushley from across the pond. He says,
Hey,
guys in Lang, just wanted to chime in about light guns. The PS2 has a few light guns that were used for Time Crisis
Yep.
and similar games, and I think they worked on non-CRT screens.
they might
wonder how
have
that
worked.
is.
They might have worked on projector televisions,
Interesting.
but I
There's a
don't-
way to
that
make
height-
them
Yeah,
work.
you can make them
on-
work on projector TVs, like the big box. You remember the big box,
Yeah,
big screens?
the big box with like the plastic screen.
I can swear, somewhere in my memory banks, I remember seeing someone hacking the original NES light gun to work on modern day TVs. So I
usually-
think
it
it's possible.
Yeah, well, you can
can't
do
remember
it
how.
with- you can do it with IR blasters and things like that. Because
Maybe that's what the Wiimotes use.
That's what the Wii uses is a
Yeah.
IR blaster.
Yeah, the Wiimotes.
Yeah.
So
He goes on to say, I remember playing on a large TV, but can't remember what tech it used. Probably the projector, like you said.
Yeah.
There was also a power glove type thing for the PS2. It's strapped to your wrist and hand, and moving your wrist was on a analog stick, and your fingers rested on a button pad with all the usual buttons on it with your thumb on a D-pad.
this sounds awful.
I should be careful what hand gestures I make on camera, huh?
Yeah, bud.
Don't shake that paint can. Don't shake the paint
And-
can.
That's the joke.
I'm realizing I'm reading Geekshow Arcade. Wow.
Way to go, Jaron.
Wow.
Hey, huzzah.
You really screwed that one up.
I
So
certainly
take-
COVID.
did.
Told you
take
it's
one of
COVID.
if we have a help desk email, if we have more than one, save one. We'll read it during arcade to
Yes,
balance it
okay.
out.
Yeah.
All things,
Very
all
good.
things balanced. As
I
they
would
should
be made fun of for weeks about this.
Yep.
I would have
Forever.
You would have buried me.
Yeah. Got an email from Snake Ripley, the guy who we recommended a
Is this an arcade
Dell
or help desk?
Are you
G16.
sure? Are you sure
This
this
is arcade.
a help desk?
No, help desk.
Oh
this
my
is help
gosh.
desk.
Oh
This
boy,
is
I have no confidence.
help desk.
Oh, my
Are
God.
you sure?
Yes,
How sure?
100% now.
You had, you had the Rona, dude.
Time
This
will
is
tell.
COVID brain.
This is COVID brain. Thank you. Yes.
There you go.
Dunk.
Yes.
Hello, tech gents. I want to let you know I got the Dell G16 laptop you you recommended. Kind of.
Puffin, huh?
I've attached a screen showing what I ordered. Please let me know if it's still good. If not, I'll cancel the order.
What does he got?
Right, so you got a Dell G16.
Nice.
Intel 12th gen Intel Core i9.
Ooh, okay. What high
yeah.
went the highest end on the 12th gen series. Very nice.
3070 Ti, 8 gig.
Oh yeah.
Nice. 32
that'll
gigs
do it.
of RAM.
I already approve. It's good.
Yep, 1 terabyte NVMe. You could probably have saved a little bit of money and put another one in yourself.
It
But,
usually
yeah.
has two M2 slots. So
Yeah,
you still
you're
can
right.
throw another
You still
one in
can.
there.
Yeah, that's a solid choice there.
That's great.
I
That
wholeheartedly approve.
This is the G16, so it's a 16-inch screen. Nice.
Yep.
What's the is it a 1440p or a 1080p?
1600p, 165 hertz.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Very
Yeah.
You have chosen wisely.
You are going to enjoy that. Take advantage of the sweet NVIDIA DLSS tech on there in your 3070 Ti and the ray tracing. And oh yeah, you're going to have a lot of fun.
You've done well.
Yep. He says, you guys are the absolute best, including Landbo. You guys know who I'm talking about.
Landbo.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Let's not let that one stick. I don't like that.
No, I think
not
it's
bad.
Landbo from now on.
There's a PS. In all seriousness, I appreciate Landbo's input regardless if the rest of the crew sometimes disagrees. I like hearing about other options.
Oh,
PSS.
I
Don't let it get
Contrarian.
don't let it get to his head though. Maybe just read this when he's absent from the podcast. Oh, I should have read that bit.
Sorry.
I'm here.
Could have been any time too.
Going straight to the noggin.
Oh, Landbo, you are the best.
Landbo
I
Lafferty.
hate it so much.
Lambo.
All right. We'll save not Langs for the next episode for arcade.
For arcade? Okay.
Yeah.
Which one?
Since I screwed
a-
that up.
There's an
Yeah, you
email
did.
from Not Lang, which
And then
means
we-
Twyman. So
Yeah.
he listens to both. He'll get it.
I hope that it goes disastrously wrong and it's all about tech and it doesn't make sense with anything. I hope it's about science that we have to talk about on the arcade show.
You know what? We're going to have to roll with it because Jaron has set us on this
Yeah.
path and we will not deviate.
Way to go, Darren.
We are committed at this point.
It
This
is
is the butterfly effect right here.
it is rather gadgety. Oh no. What have I done?
Well, too bad.
All right.
You've
Got
ruined the both shows now.
an email from Lang. How you been, fellas? I wanted to
Great.
just clarify some things from the last episode. Jaron wasn't the only one that took advantage of Black Friday deals. Along with a few items for my kids, I snagged some Sennheiser Bluetooth headphones that are $200 normally for $79.
Ooh,
Nice.
nice.
But there was a curiosity if non-human primates used in research are treated better than us. Let me reassure you all, they are. They even have popcorn every Thursday. I want popcorn every
I get popcorn at my work every
Thursdays?
single day. Movie theater
probably-
is the best.
And you complain about going to the office?
No, I don't. Well, I complain about getting there.
No,
the
you don't.
transportation there, not being there. I love being in the office.
I mean, does $5 worth of popcorn really?
No, it does not.
See, you're complaining
on-
right now.
How good is the popcorn? Maybe it will.
Every once in a while, it's really, really good. Most of the time, it's like, meh, I'm sick of this.
I can't do
Coulda-
too much
coulda
popcorn.
stayed-
It gets the
Get stuck in your
kernels.
teeth. Yep.
Can't
Oh
do it.
man, this Lang email's about PC gaming. I should have done it in the arcade.
Oh,
Ah,
Jared.
Gosh dang it, Jaron.
The butterfly effect is real. Oh my.
You are one strike away from being fired.
Hey, this is an arcade email. I mean, help desk. Help desk email.
That's it. It's game over.
Now for a review question. My older kids and I are PC gaming more and more. I have 2 laptops I use for gaming, and I'm looking to get a third. Would investing in the ROG Duo 16 be worth it? Let me know what you think, and if you don't recommend it, what gaming laptop do you recommend? You guys are the guys. Yes, you too, Lando. Lang.
You got your name right.
I appreciate that so much.
Almost said Lambo.
I think that would have been appropriate.
Off the top of my head, I like the Lenovo stuff, the Lenovo Legion stuff. The Asus Duo is a great option, but I feel like it's kind of
Gimmicky.
yeah. There's an extra screen there that you don't really, unless you
It's
already
like a
have.
pop. It's like a pop out, right? Like it's a.
No. The
Oh, it's got the
keyboard
screen on
is
the- that's
down
right.
lower
Yeah, that's right.
That's
on the
right.
frame. and
You're
then
paying
there's-
a lot more for that, where I would just put it into a better GPU.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, unless you already have zeroed in on an important use case for that extra screen,
Right.
then I would say go with spend that extra money on a more powerful GPU or something. But yeah, I like the Lenovo Legion stuff. I like the check out what is that one that I'm trying to remember right now? They do
Just stall for long enough. It'll come to you.
yes, that's exactly right, Jerry.
Got it.
Electronics. Check out Electronics. They do kind of customized and rebranded Eurocom and Clevo laptops. They do a good job with those. I've seen firsthand on one of those and read a lot about those. The big thing you're gonna want to do though for sure is just go check out Jared's Tech on YouTube. It's this Australian guy who has kind of a funny voice, but he does absolutely fantastic gaming laptop reviews.
Because he has an accent
JRROD.
doesn't mean it's funny.
No, it is not the accent, and you know it.
Well, Australian accents are always funny, though.
They are.
If
It
Bluey
just-
teaches me anything.
I love Bluey.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I would recommend. Checking those out. I think he just barely did a best of 2023 list like this last week. So yeah,
If I were
Jared's
in
Tech
the
is-
market, I would be all over that.
yeah, he is an excellent gaming laptop reviewer. So there you go. Thanks for writing in. All right, I guess. Wait, do we talk about gaming or tech on this show? Which one? Because
Science,
just
maybe?
really confused me. I don't know. Which
We're
one.
doing tech right now.
Oh, okay.
We're doing
All right.
tech.
Okay.
Tech, science, gadgets.
Great.
Formerly known as the Gadget
Great.
Spot. Now we're Helpdesk.
In my defense, it was
No defense.
it was gadgets he was talking about. There were gaming
Sounds like
gadgets,
excuses to me.
but they were gadgets.
Yeah. All right. The big thing in the gadget world this last week was probably the biggest thing was the Tesla Cybertruck was released.
Biggest thing, literally.
In many ways, the biggest thing. I don't.
What do you think?
I
tried
still
to-
actually don't think it's that ugly. I still think it's kind of cool.
Barf.
No, it's
but-
ugly.
So you know that episode of
You're wrong.
Seinfeld where he's dating a woman who only looks good in certain lighting? That one booth in the diner. This is kind of how the Cybertruck is to me.
I could see
every
that,
once in a while, I'll just take
Agreed.
a look out of the corner of my eye, like, oh, that's actually kind of cool.
And
And then I look at it again, like, what?
Ugh.
No, no.
and to draw the attention away from the ugliness, he brought out his robots and attached them with guns and shot at it some more.
Yeah, he wanted.
As
to,
you do.
Elon.
He wanted to really show off all the different stuff that is unnecessary on this truck. But in my defense, I'm a huge fan of the cyberpunk aesthetic, dystopian science
never would have
fiction.
guessed.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say big fan of Elon Musk.
Which is really funny because it does look like some junkers just welded on some metal to the side of a normal truck to,
You could look at it
to
that way.
run over zombies, you know?
Mad
You could-
Max
that
style.
dystopian-
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Mad Max.
You could look at it that way, or you could look at it from the perspective of what science fiction writers thought the future was going to look like in the 80s. because that's what this is. You know, you go watch Total Recall or, Blade Runner or anything like that. And it's like, oh, yeah, this would have fit right
Which is
in.
cool. If you were making a prop, awesome. If you were
Yeah.
making a gimmick, awesome. But they're selling this as a truck. You should drive this thing.
You know what? I can't argue with that. So here's the big news that came out of the announcement was specs, finalized specs, and
Not
pricing.
nearly as good on both as was
Yep.
originally promised.
Yep, that's the biggest problem.
Didn't MD
Promise specs:
Wah, wah.
500 plus miles range for 70,000. What was delivered was 340 mile range for 100,000.
For 100,000. So he promised a $39,000 truck, and the lowest spec one starts at 60,000, almost 61. So
over promise, under deliver?
and 250 mile range on a full charge for that $60,000 truck.
Which isn't even out yet. They're starting with the most expensive version.
Of course, start at the top
Yeah.
and trickle it down, just like Apple's doing with the Vision Pro.
And to make up for that lost mileage, though, they have an optional battery pack that you could put in the bed of the truck.
Takes up half the bed.
The big question is,
solar
yeah,
panel too.
the big question is, how do you get it in there without a crane? Because that's got to weigh
forklift?
hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
Hundreds of
You
pounds.
just redneck that in with a bunch of your buddies.
Bunch of your buddies and some some toe straps.
and some shrink, some
A big lever,
Pulleys, maybe?
some heat shrink,
Yeah.
duct
Yep.
tape,
hair dryer, you
baling
got it.
wire.
Boom.
So the
No way.
the other thing that he touted on it, and we all knew this from other leaks, was it is bulletproof. The panels are actually bulletproof to smaller caliber bullets, which is kind of cool. But once again, to what end?
But we saw him throw a steel ball through the window, so
Well, okay. Go watch the
I know
the
they talk
reveal.
about the
watched
micro
this,
cracks,
okay?
but
No, here's the thing. I watched this. In the original reveal 4 years ago, they threw a steel ball at it and it cracked it. To demonstrate how strong the glass was, this time it was a baseball. It was not a steel ball. If you go back and watch it, you can hear it thunk. And he holds it for a minute, and you can, if you zoom in, it's a baseball.
okay.
Guess what? Regular tempered glass windows on cars can do. Withstand a baseball being thrown at it. There's nothing special about this glass.
It's like I'm not doing that again.
And let's see, the tri-motor ultra high-end one, $100,000, puts down 845 horsepower with 10,296 foot-pounds of torque.
They showed it going faster than a Porsche
Porsche 911.
while towing a Porsche
Yep,
911.
with a Porsche on a trailer behind it. However, what they didn't tell you, and we found out later, is it pulled ahead of that Porsche, but it wasn't a full quarter mile. It was 1/8 of a mile. So I mean, once again, the devil's in the
Moving the goal-
details.
A useless
goalposts.
spec,
Yeah,
but
completely useless as well, but still very, very fast, especially considering the size of this truck. I think the where did it say? The mid-range one will hit 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds, and I think the super expensive one is like a 2.9 or a 3.1.
it's under 3.
Yeah, 2.9 then. So.
Does this one have the crab walk? This the front the multi-turn turn tires?
It does have the quad steer. And that's pretty cool. And the other thing that it has that's pretty cool is it's one of the first, if not the first, production cars. I don't know if it's the first, but it's one of the first that has steer-by-wire, which is basically set up so that while you're turning the wheel, it changes how far the tires turn depending on how fast you're going. So if you're going slowly through a parking lot or whatever, you don't have to crank the wheel 900 degrees, or 450 degrees to get it to do a U-turn. You just turn it like 90 degrees and you'll do a U-turn. But if you're on the freeway, if you were to think about if that's how far you turn it all the time to like change lanes at 80 miles an hour, you'd only be barely moving that wheel. So the steer-by-wire takes that into account so you can move it a normal amount of distance and still change lanes smoothly and whatnot. So that's pretty cool tech. I think we're going to probably see that start to show up in a lot more cars as time goes on. It was pretty much exclusive in the past to like military stuff and things like
Didn't
that. So.
MKBHD do a review on this too?
Yeah, his
I need to
video's
go
like
watch it.
40 minutes long.
Yeah, it was
Holy
interesting
cow.
video. He
It's a good
went
one.
through like every single detail of the interior, the exterior.
Yep. And so there's all kinds of trailers. I'm looking at a picture of it pulling something on a trailer right now. There's all kinds of videos and whatnot out there of people reviewing it or previewing it or things like that. So plenty of media to check it out. But the biggest thing that we took away from this is it is not nearly as awesome on paper as
Yeah.
he said it would be 4 years ago.
Like
Which is,
features,
Elon's way.
Yeah, and features are cool. Like all the cool other features, I could actually take it or leave it. But the range and range anxiety is really where it makes a huge difference. Like that to me is where I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah,
no,
for
especially
a
if you
truck,
can-
it's bigger of a deal because you're towing a trailer
exactly.
and it reduces your range substantially.
That's
if
what I was
you're
gonna
doing
say.
that.
You need to be doing, I don't pull a lot of trailers, but I would say you'd want to be able to pull a trailer 200 miles without having to stop for gas or stop for a charge. And I highly doubt this can do that. So at least a heavy
Unfortunately.
trailer anyway.
You can do full 220 volt output on it, so you can charge other EVs level
Which
2
will
charging from it.
Just decrease your range more.
Yeah, it will.
It just became a fuel truck. That's all it is. It's a rescue truck.
Yeah, to me, the disappointing thing is the range. Not because it's pretty standard for EVs nowadays, but 4 years ago, it seemed to imply that Tesla had a battery improvement. Big battery improvement coming down the line because their Tesla Roadster, the version 2 that isn't out yet, they promised like between 500 and 600 miles of range.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to deliver that.
Well, and they talked a lot. They talked a lot of crap too with their Tesla, with their semi truck that they were doing. They were like, oh, this battery, and everybody's like, oh, that same battery tech's going to be coming to the Cybertruck. Like,
Yeah, it didn't seem like it translated very well.
Yeah.
So anyway,
From what I read, there is an improvement in the battery tech, just not to what they
yeah.
said it was going to be.
it's incremental, and that's how battery tech has been for the last 30, 40 years. Ever since lithium ion gained a lot of traction, improvements based on that have all been incremental. If you were to compare the lithium ion batteries we have now versus the ones in the early 90s, they're a lot better.
Of course.
But
It's
that's
interesting.
30 years of improvement.
Right.
I wonder what that looks like for Tesla. Just because if a car came out and there was lawsuits about this, I think fairly recently, within the last 5 or 6 years, where a car came out and said, "This is our gas mileage, and this is what we get, and this is what we put on paper," and then when it turned out not to be true, that company was like sued by the FTC.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
the difference is that is what they advertised as their product having as they sold it. 500 miles range was what they just said. Oh, our car coming out in 4 years
okay.
is going to have 500-mile range.
Oh, so what did they officially put on paper for the
320.
Cybertruck? Oh, okay.
340
Or
for the top of
yeah.
the line one.
Oof, okay.
And that's like best case scenario, right?
Best case scenario for sure.
Yeah.
Ideal conditions, perfect weather,
Perfect
no
time.
hills.
Yeah.
Right.
Tesla is going through some hot water right now because they have historically overestimated the range in their cars as you drive them.
Yeah.
But that's not along far enough to know what will happen with that yet.
Also, you did have it reversed, Jaron. It's 340 for the middle range, middle one, and 320 for the big boy. So, yep. Well, there you go. You know what? Let's just dovetail this into another electric car style story. The moral of this one, or the thing you need to pull away from this, is electric motorcycles are really fast.
Oh gosh. Okay. I have a whole bunch of stuff to say about these dumb things.
So this is an article in electric.co. Electrek. That's a better way to say it. There is a fella in, let's see, maybe Australia, if he's driving between Wellington to Auckland, I think. And he specializes in like testing electric bikes and things like that, and electric motorcycles and doing stuff on those. And he took his newest one that he purchased. What did it say here? Anyway, he took it on what's kind of fun is what he does is he goes on a long bike ride, a long motorcycle ride like 400 miles from point A to point B, and at point B is a racetrack where he can race the motorcycle on. So he puts it through its paces on a road trip, and then races on a racetrack.
Like a drag strip, right? Just a
No, this was this was a drag strip, but
Yeah.
I think he does some MotoGP style too as well. But anyway, this was a drag strip specifically, and he said he had a great experience going across country, 400 miles on this thing, and then when he got to the racetrack, he was running 11-second quarter miles, which is insanity.
That's crazy.
Especially when you consider you're not in a car with a roll cage, you're on a bike, on a motorcycle. And he had one run that was 10.9 seconds, at which
Jeez.
the people on the track that run the track said, you can't do that. That's too fast.
Yeah.
Too
Especially because-
fast?
Especially because it was poor conditions. It was
Yep.
rainy conditions, and they were like,
They had dried off the track, so
okay.
it was dry by the time he was doing these, but it had been raining earlier in the day. And yeah, they basically said, we're not set up for, we're not insured for motorcycles this fast that aren't covered by their own racing insurance
Wow.
or whatever.
right.
And
We
so
don't
he
have
said-
we don't have the tools to scrape you off the wall at the end of the track. Like we don't have a big enough spatula to peel
Yep.
you off the end of the track.
So yeah,
Jeez, that's fast.
I just thought that was pretty rad. After a 400-mile
Does it
ride,
say-
he pulls up and pulls 11 seconds, 10.9 second miles, or quarter miles, excuse me. So
Somebody out there smarter than me needs to do the math and tell me what the G forces applied to your face and
Yeah.
body would be with
Quite
because
a
that's the
bit.
thing about e-bikes and e-cars, right? They can immediately transfer torque to the powertrain. Like
Yep.
there's no delay, and that's what makes them so crazy fast, because if you dump enough voltage in, like power in, power out immediately. And I've been getting into a little bit of the electric racing, like actual drag racing with electric cars, and it is absolutely insane to see these old cars just kitted out with with some big old e-motors from Teslas or whatever they can scrap them out of, and then watch them just. I mean, it looks like a giant hand has just kicked them or smashed them down the track. It is
Wow.
and they're silent. Like you can hear the tires and the engines a little bit, but it's so weird not to hear the engines roaring. It's bizarre.
yeah, you just hear the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. The bike is Energica Ribble RS. I'm sure I absolutely butchered that name.
I saw that.
Energica Ego.
Energica Ribel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Rebel.
and
Rebel.
I think it said in the article that he over the 400-mile trip he had to stop twice to charge, and then he charged when he got there. So
Yeah.
you know, I mean, as far as bike tanks go, I don't think that's too unreasonable to have to stop for gas or a charge after 150, 200 miles. So, but what do I know? I'm not a bike rider.
Where'd you say
Twyman
this
would
was?
probably be yelling at me.
Australia.
He's a motorcycle rider. Yeah, this is Australia.
Auckland's New Zealand, buddy.
Yeah. He rode from.
New
all the same.
Zealand.
It's all the same.
Tony led me astray. Thanks, Tony, for making me look dumb.
Yeah.
Mwah.
He went from Wellington to Auckland.
I'm pretty sure Australia and New Zealand are the same country.
No.
No, not even close. There, you just triggered. You triggered somebody that knows.
Somebody listening is like,
You triggered somebody that
We
knows
do have an
somebody.
Australian listener, if I remember correctly.
How dare you?
Yeah.
No,
I don't have a good. I almost tried an Australian accent just now, and my body's like, yeah, no.
just rejects
You
it.
should
You're
not do that.
Good.
No.
You're not good at that.
I
Yeah.
freaking love the episodes of Flight of the Conchords where they have like beef with the Australians and
Yeah.
stuff
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
that
It's
is-
freaking
Oh.
fun.
Fantastic.
So, all right. Well, there you go. I think that's all the electric vehicle news we have today. Let's roll on to what is this? Oh, Jaron. No.
What?
Oh, Jaron. Why do you have another article here about Beeper Mini?
It's
Beeper-
something new.
No, this is the company that screwed
No.
up.
No, it's not.
Nothing was based off of this.
This is brand new as of
What is it,
today.
Jared? I know nothing about this.
So we talked about the iMessage company, not official iMessage, who bungled their launch and nothing phone was
That was
using them.
Beeper.
No, it wasn't Beeper.
Wait, is
Beeper
the one that I
is-
was going to try? Anyway, continue.
I think it is.
Oh, okay.
Beeper is owned by the former Pebble CEO.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
a little bit of credit.
And
Okay.
they're doing this the right way.
What's the right way?
The app is called Beeper Mini. It's on Android, and you can fully use iMessage between Android and iPhone. What's wild about this is a high schooler reverse engineered the iMessage protocol,
What?
Even with
Publish-
encryption?
published it online with encryption and everything. This company, Beeper, they bought it from him, and now they are selling it on the Google Play Store. There's a 7-day free trial and a $2 monthly fee.
$2? That's not bad.
Yeah, and
Yeah, worth it for Blue Bubbles.
since it's completely reverse engineered, that falls under fair use. So technically, Apple can't shut them down.
Wow.
Well, they could change their protocol, though.
Yeah, they could change it. Make it
Well,
work.
I mean, they might
on
That
how-
would
have.
show.
Well, I was going
that
to
would
say
show.
it depends on how deeply he reverse engineered it. Because if he went down to
Yes.
like the point where they would have to change, base code and stuff like that,
They
that
they couldn't do that because there
Big
are
problem.
like millions of devices out there on older versions of iOS or
Yeah.
Mac OS that
And-
still need to use iMessage.
and-
So it's
and
not
to
like
be
they can
fair,
change it massively.
It would seriously show Apple's like vindictive. Like it would really. It would. Really
I'm here
prove-
for it.
It would
Come
really
on.
prove that. It would really prove all the worst things people have been saying. Why Apple's doing this?
Oh, and do
Apple's
we-
doing this.
Do we need
Apple's
more
doing-
proof?
I was going to say,
Apple's-
and do we already not
Well,
believe this?
No, everybody does, but nobody can prove it because Apple goes, "Hey, look, we're just not going to put any R&D into changing that. We don't need to, But really, we all know why. It is.
It's the
what
Blue Bubbles.
Yeah.
Blue Bubbles.
So anyway, it does encryption. It uses the public
decryption.
key from Apple, and then it stores the private key on your device.
Wow.
You don't even have to log in with an Apple ID to use it.
What?
They
Yeah.
just register the number or something.
It just registers the number
Holy
with
moly.
Apple servers. It inputs a spoofed UDID on Apple's databases. And I was watching a YouTube video about this.
There's how Apple gets around it.
Well. I was watching Snazzy Labs on YouTube, and he was saying that this, while technically Apple could shut a device down by serial number, it's difficult because corporate what's that word? Corporate
Synergy.
systems.
Oh, wow.
Corporate systems or enterprise
you sure you
licenses,
didn't have COVID?
they will have multiple of the same
Same serial.
That's
same
true.
UDID or whatever. And
Yeah, the
so
testing ones, the testing keywords.
Yeah, and as well as testing devices out there and stuff like that. So they wouldn't be able to do it in mass. They'd have to do it one at a time, theoretically. Now, of course, there could be some secret thing that Apple has in there in case this ever happened, and they could easily tell, but because it was reverse engineered, we really have no way of knowing. But it's extremely interesting.
That is
it's
fascinating.
secure. Like the company doesn't see anything. It's encrypted, and supposedly, we'll see what happens. Apple may not be able to do much about it.
Or at least not without great
Not without,
cost.
great cost.
So-
Did they say how much they paid that kid for the code?
I
They
hope
did not say.
paid-
Hopefully a
I thought-
buttload.
They're,
Well,
they're like, we'll
if
give
they're-
you $50,000. And
That's the
that's
thing.
paltry compared to what
if
that's.
the kid was
worth.
smart, he would have said, "I don't want an upfront sum, or I want a small upfront sum,
Right.
and I want residuals,
royalties. Yeah, residuals.
royalties.
Or a big upfront sum with residuals.
yeah, whatever.
That's what I would've
Residuals is
done.
the point.
Yeah. Oh,
you know.
yeah. Especially after the other one flopped so hard, for this to come into that vacuum.
That fast
And then,
too.
it fell into this vacuum and basically said, actually, this is how you do it. And
Oh
has
my
all the
gosh.
features, right? It just kind of set the stage for them to be like nobody's looking at any flaws in Beeper Mini right now because nothing can be worse than that
I wish
dumpster
one of
fire
us-
that the Nothing phone was running. You know, like
I wish one of us had an Android phone so we could try this.
I do, but I just don't want to give any more information to Apple. I don't know if I trust this very much.
Oh, come on,
What?
Owen, for
What are you
science,
talking
for the
about?
show.
Well,
All it's
I
going to
don't
get is
know.
your
Do it
phone
right
number.
now.
It's encrypted,
I approve.
first of all,
$2 from the
so-
Geek Show pool. Let's go.
The only thing
Hi,
we'll
Geek Show.
have is your phone number
Helpdesk.
and some spoofed cereal. That's it.
Think about it, Owen.
Let's do it. Don't think. Just do.
I'll tell you what I would like is I want
Ask
an
me
app
after tomorrow.
I want an app for my I want an app for my friggin' Windows computer that can do it.
I know that'd be sweet.
That would be rad.
Yeah,
that's a
I bet it's
Pandora's
around the
box
corner.
right there, right? Like that's all you need to start using that. It's just another UUI, like the spoofed UUID on their database. If that's how they're determining it.
What Apple could do is start unveiling a lot of new features that isn't supported
By the older versions, yeah.
by the older versions, and actually put out an app on Android and Windows and make people want to use the official one rather than this one.
I hope they do. Right?
They could-
Like I hope.
I know, that'd be
hope-
great.
I absolutely
Yeah.
hope they do it. But it sucks that it took a kid reverse engineering their product and slapping them in the face to get them to do it. But I would totally appreciate and welcome. Maybe obviously it's going to be more expensive than $2, right? But
No, no. They would undercut. They would charge $1.50 to
Yeah.
just put Beeper out of business. You watch.
Yeah.
I would bet if they pulled it, it would be the same price or cheaper,
Or free.
or even free maybe.
I mean, you have to understand the magnitude of what their cash like positive is, right? What they have in cash right now
absurd.
Are they trillionaires already? Like, are they in the?
Well, they're a
Cash
$2+ trillion company.
They don't have that much in the bank.
There's no way they have that
Okay.
much. in
No, not
in
liquid.
liquid. No way.
Right.
But yeah, I tell you what though, this kid, if he continues on this trajectory with his skills and his, knowledge growth and things like that, you keep an eye on him. He is
If he
going
doesn't
to
have-
be,
He's a freaking genius. Like
gonna be
reverse
massive.
engineering
If he-
iMessage.
If
he's going to be
Google,
massive in the tech.
if Alphabet and Google haven't already given him job offers, they're insane, right?
Yeah.
Like insane.
It's nuts.
That's way cool. All right. Well, I stand corrected, Jaron. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, it's showing nothing how to do it.
Heyo.
Carl
and
Pay.
for science. Come on, Owen.
For
All right.
science, I might for 7 days.
Here's a little something that's not so great. The end of an era. Popular Science magazine.
It's going away.
Oh man.
It's finally. I mean,
Oh, I used to love popular science.
151 years. This magazine.
Wow.
Going through a bunch of different media changes, but this is almost a collector's item at this point. Like if you have those old episodes, like before they were just a really
Episodes?
kind of a
Episodes?
yeah. I mean, you know what I mean. Episodes.
I don't.
Volumes. What did I mean to say?
Issues?
Issues.
Issues. Thank
Issues.
you. Anyway, everything's digital for me. They just used to be a child hazard in your grandma's house, right? Like they were stacked so high, and you're like, "Oh, those magazines are gonna tip over." I used them to make jumps because my grandparents had them, and I just like,
Your grandparents had subscriptions too?
Dude,
Jared's-
popular science was the only thing that made my grandparents' house somewhat
Yeah.
fun growing
Popular
up.
yeah.
Science, Popular Mechanics. I'd read them every month.
so they shifted to an all digital format a couple years ago, and now officially even that is saying farewell. So
Sucks.
Sad days.
no longer. So they have the new thing called Pop Sci, which covers a whole range of stories.
Sounds like a
but it's
terrible
not there.
cable channel.
It is.
That is
And,
all reality shows now.
It's basically
You mean
the
TLC? Or Discovery?
Yeah, Discovery.
what do they call it? Like it's basically the lobotomized version of it. Just the stuff that trends well.
Yeah.
The
stuff-
David Zaslav version of it.
Oh, don't mention his name. That guy. What a jerk.
You ruined Discovery.
Yep. So
And he's ruining Warner Brothers now.
there it is. Layoffs. That's it. They ended. Oh, here's what's another sting. They ended the whole thing in the space of a 5-minute Zoom call. It's over, guys.
Oh, pack it up, fellas.
Yeah.
We're all
Pack it
done.
All that history.
Close it up. So
Jeez.
now is the time to start collecting. Make a lot of bucks if you can get physical issues up. I don't know. I mean, if they have 151 years and they're putting out an issue every
month.
yeah, that's a lot of issues, Tony.
Whatever 152 times 12 is. Big number.
Yeah.
Jaron, do it.
No,
Only
no.
we had a
Math
calculator.
for us.
I don't work after work
I
hours.
respect that. Well, that is a bummer to hear. Hopefully, maybe someday someone will buy it and resurrect it and make it awesome again.
We've seen
doubtful.
so much death in
Yeah.
our lifetimes, guys.
Right?
Being a millennial is just the worst, isn't
We
it?
just-
The worst.
We've watched all this cool stuff just get, discharged by the wayside.
And then the rest of it, we just wait for them to make some sort of bad remake, and then we go pay for it again for nostalgia's sake, and then hate it.
Yep.
Like what? What do you hate?
Transformers.
I've paid
I'm not
for
gonna
Zelda
go
Wind
into-
Waker like 5
Not
times.
gonna happen today.
Transformers? I thought you were going to say Wheel of Time for sure.
I thought you were.
Tony, not doing it. Not gonna get me on that. Not today.
Why not
Well,
enjoy life and just enjoy it?
I'm choosing peace today.
Today you are choosing peace. This actually goes perfectly with this next story. Sony and PlayStation are making a big mistake here. PlayStation is planning to delete a bunch of TV shows and things that people already paid for on their
I can't-
platform.
I can't believe that.
Yep.
This will, like anyone that owns these shows, will never buy a single thing from Sony ever again.
No way. So the basically it's a big mess of online DRM and license agreements. And that's everything you buy online to watch and play. But this one specifically applies to Mythbusters, Naked and Afraid, and other, you guessed it, Discovery shows.
Speaking of Discovery.
Thanks, David Zaslav. It's their deals with Sony are going out the window or expiring or whatever you want to call it.
But they
And,
paid for them.
Yep.
Like they
yep.
purchased them. The deals
Yep.
don't go out the window for paid content. This is not Netflix.
Apparently it does.
Yeah.
That's so lame.
And this brings up that question: what is the expectation of a cable company or of a content provider
Yeah.
to
or content
maintain,
reseller.
Yeah, to maintain your library or your subscription in perpetuity. As time continues and shows just keep coming out, and everybody wants to keep every ounce and scrap of data. You know, like eventually stuff went off TV and went to the tapes, and like it's gone. It's in storage somewhere. It's not accessible by. But now in this day and age of always on media,
Physical
like,
media, and hope your physical
and the
media
thing
doesn't
is, like,
degrade.
It's one
Exactly.
thing if it's like Nintendo not selling you Nintendo products anymore, right? It's a
Right.
whole other thing if you have a media company such as I don't know,
Well, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
You're close.
reselling it through Sony or
You're-
reselling it through Apple.
Thing is, Nintendo
close.
doesn't sell Nintendo products anymore. Like
That's the
most of their
say,
stuff that
Well, no,
they
no, yeah, but
release
he's
isn't you
third
can't
party.
buy.
the point I'm
But
making
here's-
is
no,
the
you're-
Nintendo
you're-
first party stuff.
You're,
not
you're
the-
not even going deep enough on the Nintendo analogy because it will get to the point, and you watch, because Nintendo has done such a piss poor job of their online stores
watch their eShop guy
and
and all the stuff
moving
you
well,
bought.
moving things to the
me,
next
that's,
platform.
That's a related but different issue to this one.
It's the
right?
same issue. They don't want
bought
to
it.
keep the
Yeah.
servers up so you can download the stuff you paid for.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
a different root cause, but the same end result.
No migration path, right?
No migration path.
No migration
okay.
path. The next,
Tony,
if they
okay,
said
Tony.
if they
Tony,
if they
okay.
said if they said you could buy this and you bought it, so we're like hardware dies, right? The battery
Yeah.
in your Switch is eventually going to go kaput. Like the stuff is going to break. You can't always have that access, and so. It's
So
crazy.
there you go. It's basically this covers all of Discovery's content on the PlayStation Store, the PlayStation network, or whatever you want
Is
to
there
call
anywhere else that's getting screwed from Discovery?
This article only talks about the PlayStation Network specifically.
So not Xbox or not Apple
It's kind of a slippery
or any
slope
other place you
there.
could buy Discovery shows.
Yeah, so far not. But
So it's
So
not device
you-
related. It's not company related. It's
I
like
think
It's not
multi-
device,
It's
it's
device. It's not
Sony.
device either. It's company. Yeah, it's platform. It's
So
platform.
you have to choose the right platform then, and hope that they are
They-
willing to renegotiate their contracts in the future.
Yep.
the contract
I
is
think
crazy to me.
I think it sets a kind of crazy precedent, right? Like I bet
Oh,
you
yeah.
a lot of these other companies that are struggling with that same, like, how long are we beholden to keep this, are watching this to see how the base, the consumer
Yeah.
base reacts, right? If they're if Sony's just like if their market or their value whatever tanks for this, you'll see other companies buying more storage.
Well, same thing with Apple, right? I buy a ton of movies on the Apple Movie Store or whatever, right?
Yeah.
iTunes.
Well,
Hope
if
that-
companies refuse to host their own stuff anymore, let us download it DRM free.
yeah, that's the big
Exactly.
thing, and that's one
I'll
of the
host
reasons.
it, right? Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I really like CD Projekt Red's online gaming store, GOG, because everything they sell on there is DRM free. So if you just want to download all the files in a folder with the executable and everything,
can
so you
do
can
that
install it, you
natively.
can do that natively. You don't have
Right.
to jump through any hoops.
Neat.
So it's, stuff like that is really cool. But yeah, watch this, because this is going to become more common as we go on, unfortunately. And that's why whatever you love that you never want to lose access to, you're going to have to either buy a physical media of it, or you're going to have to
Pirate.
sail the high seas and save it in redundant backup solutions.
Luckily, I have some friends who sail the high seas very, very well.
You know?
And by
Oh, yeah.
friends, I mean friend.
All
whose
this
name-
does is encourage piracy.
It does,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the thing. And it's already shown over the last 20 years, I would say, that if a company makes their product easy to get, easy
And
to
reasonably
buy,
priced.
The
and
thing that
reasonably
drives me-
priced, that is the best combat against piracy.
Oh,
out there.
100%. Could not agree more. The thing that drives me crazy right now is when movies are first released, you can't rent them. You can only buy them for like the first month. And then you can rent them from like
Amazon-
iTunes or whatever.
Amazon does
That
it.
drives me bonkers.
Amazon
So-
does a pretty good job of the rent or
Yeah,
buy
but
right
the
off
thing that ticks me off about Amazon's thing is it's like rent for $20 or buy for $22.
Yeah, that's
And
not
it's like,
that's not rental.
Oh, fine. Here's another
that
$2.
in fact that's one of the things that encouraged me to pirate more than almost anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what you see. People go, I don't know the financial gain for piracy. Like, I think it's just street cred of like how many people downloaded their upload. Like, it's still like there's no monetary value for these teams. Like, if like there's a bunch of uploaders out there and they're whole teams, and you can read about them on Torrent Freaks and whatever other websites, but they will pay that $22 and from Amazon, and they will rip the 4K version, and they'll make a 1080p, and they'll make a 720p. They'll make all the versions, right? They'll put all the
Yeah.
other different resolutions out there, and then they upload them, and their whole team's doing it because they're doing the subs, they're doing the subtitles, they're doing the encoding, and I just don't see what they get out of it. Like, I don't see their incentive to yeah, like it's
That's
just
all it is,
yeah. Hacker
It's a
cred or
sense
whatever,
of
but-
fulfillment.
I
you
guess,
know?
but they have to, like, as soon as a movie hits Amazon or Apple where they can actually pay to get it, you will see it come out on somebody spent money. Somebody spent money to do it, and that to me is like a reverse incentive. Like, okay, if it was coming out and you were watching it and you just hooked up an encoder and caught it for free, and you were like, yeah, I'll share this. Okay, you're a nice, whatever, sharing, generous person who wants to spread free stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
It's free stolen stuff. Anyway,
Not free stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Robin Hood.
Yeah. And but like they buy it, they pay for it, and then they spend the work encoding it, doing all the work, and like it's a lot
Dude,
of work.
this is the same. It's the same mentality, just not illegal, that people have that build freeware stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
I want to
passion,
put
that weird passion.
It's
I
that
guess I
weird,
just
yeah. I want to spend hours and hours every day coding this program and just give it out
Just
for free.
sending
Open
it.
source.
Yeah, that's the word I was trying to think of. Open source. So it's great.
Well,
It's
Kind of like
interesting.
episode versus
Open source
issue,
you
you
can
know.
still make money off open source.
Yeah, you can make money.
You
off open
can.
source.
That's true. You can. Yeah. It doesn't happen all the time. All right. Lando has a story here that he contributed, and then we're gonna do a quick lightning round.
This was supposed to be a lightning round, but we can do it for a lightning round and call it lightning
Oh,
round.
okay. Sure.
So we talk a lot about ChatGPT around here. There's a way to get the ChatGPT 4 Plus. So this is like the paid tier of ChatGPT for free. All it takes is a Microsoft account.
I have one
and
of
if you
those.
have an Xbox or a Windows machine, it is very likely you already have one, right? So all you have to do is log into Microsoft and go to Bing Chat actually rebranded just recently to Copilot is what it's called now. So it's called Microsoft Copilot, which has been rebranded from GitHub. But anyway, that is using ChatGPT 4 Turbo, which is the exact same thing you get for paying for ChatGPT. And you can use it for free right now.
Nice.
It's very, very cool. The only limitation on it, and
Your
this also includes
imagination.
this also,
No?
by the way, also includes
Good job.
DALL-E 3 Plus, right? So the newest version of
Oh,
DALL-E.
sweet.
This is
that's
also
cool.
included in this. The only limitation is instead of having a 4,000 character limit like you would get if you paid for ChatGPT 4 by ChatGPT and not Microsoft, is you get a 2,000 character limit instead.
Response limit, right? So that those are response limits, right?
Response limits, yeah,
Okay.
and input limit too. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, it's not like a huge deal for most things that most people do with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Cool.
anyway, I thought this was very, very cool, and it's worth
I looked
talking
in-
about because you can go use it for free right now. Like it's
Yeah.
awesome.
I looked into the pricing. They've started releasing SKUs for enterprise for Copilot because that's something that super interests me for deploying devices and like what it can do. It's going to be ridiculous.
Well, I'm not sure if this is an education only thing, but Bing Chat or Copilot for Enterprise is free and turned on by default. At least it was for us.
Yeah, it has to do you at your E5 license level.
Yeah, and we're on the E5 for education, not A5.
Office Copilot, I think it's $40 per month per user
Per license.
per license.
That could add up. Wow.
That's a lot. 40
Yeah.
per month per user.
But anyway, if you have a university account, it's very likely you have access to it for free, or even just a regular Microsoft account, not a university account or nothing, but just a regular old personal Microsoft account.
Check it out.
It's pretty awesome.
All right, lightning round. Owen.
I'm gonna do this Mr. Bezos one because I like to throw shade at Amazon. They bought everybody else's rockets. Like, so
They haven't been making their own?
Well, they haven't been launching their own because their giant dong doesn't fly right.
Hate it when that happens.
And so they bought all the launch windows for all these other companies, Ariana and all the things, right? And not only are they getting into trouble from their investors for that, because they basically skipped a very big, important, most reliable rocket in the U.S. right now. Can you guess?
SpaceX more
Yeah,
than likely.
SpaceX. They didn't buy any of their launch windows, and so they're getting in trouble from that from their investors because they're like, you let your ego
Yep.
prevent us from
Making money.
making money, and not only that, they have a deadline. They got authorized to get 32. Just a little over 3,200 satellites in space, and they won't make it with all the rockets they bought from around the world, basically, unless they have until 2025, I think, or 2026.
Yeah, and end of 24, I think.
Yeah, end of 2024. They have to have at least half of those.
Oh, nope, I lied. The company needs to deploy half of these satellites by July of 2026.
Yeah, it's 26. So they have to get half of them up there by that time. And so guess where they went? They tucked tail, went straight to SpaceX.
Hat in hand. Hey, guys.
Hey man, and
Yeah,
SpaceX is like, all right.
friends. Yeah, here's some money.
So yeah, but it's just kind of funny, a little funny. They're having to tuck tail,
Yeah.
swallow their pride a little bit, and use SpaceX to. SpaceX is planning to do in 2024. SpaceX is planning to do a rocket every 2.5 days.
Wow.
That's their plan. Is that nuts? That's nuts.
That's
wild.
nuts.
I mean, it's gonna make space seem boring. Like, oh yeah, another rocket launch or whatever, I guess, or whatever. So that's it.
Cool.
It's like
Jaron, lightning round. Hit it.
Fire TV sticks or Fire TVs in general, those are pretty popular, right? Because they're cheap little devices. Well, there's a reason they're so cheap. They are going to start rolling out full screen video ads.
I love
Full
it.
screen?
This is
Yes.
this is the death
Holy.
knell. This is the death knell of that device. I've hated
So-
the Fire Stick.
The ad on top of your Fire TV will now start playing full screen upon turning it on every single time. You can quickly press the home button to dismiss it, or if you accidentally press another button because you're trying to quickly dismiss it, you might actually get into what that thing is advertising.
Oh, no.
And their quote, Amazon's quote, listen to this. Our focus is on delivering an immersive experience so customers can enjoy their favorite TV shows and movies, as well as browse and discover more content they'll want to watch. We're always working to make the Fire TV experience better for customers and have updated one of the prominent placements in the UI to play a short content preview if no other action is taken by a customer upon turning on their Fire TV.
What?
A fully
show-
immersive experience.
Yeah, we'll show you. We'll show you something if you don't push a button. It's,
Yes.
You know, this reminds me of this thing. Have you guys heard of this new thing called the Telly TV? Have you seen this?
No.
Oh, I should save it and talk about it next week because it's very interesting.
Yeah, bring it up.
So this makes Fire TV just absolutely abhorrent to me now.
Kind of a non-starter.
You're gonna be telling
Roku lately, the ads on that are ridiculous. So
Yep.
Roku is just a non-starter for me. At this point, it's between Apple TV and if you can find a decent Android TV thing out there, probably that as well.
Wow.
Like
All right.
even Android TV, I don't. It feels too addy to me.
You were complaining about Android TV's ads 2 years ago.
I was. They're not nearly as egregious as Fire TV and Roku.
Roku
but
doesn't play an ad, like doesn't play a video with sound though. Like it doesn't play an ad on the home screen. At least not on the Roku Ultra.
yeah, you get into the screensaver and there's advertisements everywhere.
Yeah. That's
But yeah, like the Android TV interface, it will load like a banner, but they're ads. They're pretty much ads, and some of them are inappropriate for kids.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what you were complaining about.
And so as soon as that started, I got rid of it and bought an
Yeah.
Apple TV and haven't looked back.
yeah, the Apple TV is amazing. Set top.
I love it because there's
It's
no
true.
ads. It's
true.
the
And if
only
you're in the-
one without ads.
And if you're in the Apple ecosystem, it's even better.
Yep. Can confirm. All right. I have two things real quick. One of them is a story. The other one is a PSA. We talked about the Liberty Pro 3 earbuds last week, and I re-reviewed them and gave them like a 9 point whatever. Well, Jaron bought a pair and texted me and said, Tony, these suck. The latency on these is
Having
trash.
deja vu.
And I
It was
said,
not
well,
good. I pushed a button and then heard a sound like half a second to a second later.
I said, I don't know what you're talking about, but did you update the firmware? And he's like, well, no. And I said, okay, update the firmware.
sounds familiar.
And so
No, story's not over yet, Owen.
story's not over yet. He downloaded the app for the phone, the Soundcore app or whatever it is, and his firmware was already up to date.
Oof.
But in the app, he changed it to allow multi-point connection, which is a
Which
feature that this has.
Isn't on by default. For
Not
some
on
That's
by
crazy.
default. And by enabling multi-point connection, it disables LDAC for the very, that's the highest quality lossless or,
Right.
almost lossless data stream for music. And by doing that and disabling LDAC, then it brought up the low latency automatically when he connected next to his Steam Deck. And how's the latency now, Jaron?
It's great. I quite like them, especially since I paid like $55 for
Got
it.
a great deal. And so
Yeah.
in my case, I already had multi-point set up on that from when I was reviewing them before I started playing with them on the Ally or the Steam Deck.
So enable multipoint, folks, if you want to use it for gaming.
Even
Yep,
if
and
you're not going to use multipoint, enable it, and that's what kicks over the low latency.
low latency mode. Yep. So there you go. All right, and my story. We're lightning round.
Words are
story. Indeed. Intel's being pretty salty against AMD, but you know what? They also kind of have a point with this one. Intel says they are directly comparing the Ryzen 7000 series of laptop CPUs to snake oil, and saying there's a long history of selling half-truths to unsuspecting customers. And this looks bad. Like they're trying really hard to sling some mud, and you know what? They're kind of right, but they are being real douchies about it.
Like,
The issue
when you have
is
to stoop to this level, though, does that
means you're
mean-
losing hardcore.
Yeah.
So
Right.
what is
that
snake
means.
oil? AMD's over marketing their stuff or something?
That's what it is. It's not that they're over marketing it. It's that you remember when they changed their naming convention for their mobile CPUs
Oh, yeah.
about a year and a half ago, And now it's 4 numbers followed by a letter, and each number connotates something specific about the CPU. Well, the third number connotates the architecture. So you have a 7840 or like a 7820 or whatever. That third number is the generation of the Zen core on there. So you can be buying a laptop that says like 7820U and thinking I'm getting one of the high-end CPUs, but it's actually Zen 2 architecture on there, which is not very fast compared to the Zen 3 and the Zen 4 stuff. So, like I said, Intel kind of has a point because of the naming convention that AMD has right now. It's
Poor.
It's dookie. It's bad.
That's
It
bad.
makes sense, though.
It
in
makes
a way.
sense if you know
understand
what to
it.
look for.
If you're not
But
looking
your
at the, if you're
average
not looking at
consumer,
the first 2 numbers,
Higher
yeah.
number, better, yo.
yeah, your average consumer is not going to look at that. So
Yeah, me?
7910.
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh crap, this thing blows. So keep an eye out for that. Intel, that's rude. That's dirty.
Seems a little
But-
desperate.
It seems desperate, but you have a point.
Yeah.
So, all right. That is almost it. Before we go, shout out to our awesome Patreon backers, patreon.com/gadgetspot. If you donate $6 a month or more, along with all the cool things you get there, you also get a shout out on the air, which Jaren has for us right now.
Thank you to David Broshinsky, Connor Keesaw, and Woofable Tony. Thank you, guys. Si se puede. Reap rewards. Rebooting router registries religiously. Andy Bird.
Great.
Be the 8-year-old. Travis Johnson. Check out the new Baldur's Gate 3 custom tech stickers at Pieman Graphics on Etsy. Jeremy, No Name, No Color. Keslow, Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz. ONS Tech Cred. Matt Nelson, Mr. Hand, and Mr. Spicoli in 2024. Aloha. It's our time. Josh D, Adam, Aaron Faulkner, Stuart Lloyd, Joe. There's no place like G28X0Y0Z0. Ryan M, and Adam Hecht.
All right.
guys.
Thank you so much, Patreon backers. That's it. We'll see you in a couple of days if you listen to Arcade, or next week if you only listen to Helpdesk. Why would you do that, though? Listen to Arcade, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lando.
You need to hear the emails.
That's right.
For
That's
this
part 2 of the Helpdesk emails. Lando, take us out.
So if you have a question that'd be easy to Google, no, don't do that. Just Slack your coworkers. Or, better yet, your second cousin who is, quote-unquote, good at the computer stuff. Be an end user.